Hello and welcome to the first episode of the Coffin Lounge podcast. I'm your host, VampireKitten, and with me today is Monarch Makeup. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
So tell us a little bit about what you do as, like, obviously you're a makeup artist. Tell us a little bit about what you do and what you are working on.
I work as a professional makeup artist. I freelance as an independent contractor. I also work for cosmetic companies, mainly in like education, in the retail space where I go in and I talk to consumers, but also train and educate teams when it comes to like launches of new products and just overall generalized education, like when it comes to like the world of color and skincare.
Awesome.
And like what I'm working on currently at the moment, a whole lot of nothing.
So
No, just living my life. Just living my life.
what is your preferred kind of makeup? Like what do you like doing out of all the other stuff that you do?
Ooh, that's a really good question. I mean, special effects have always had like a special place in my heart. I
Hmm.
think me like working in a streaming space, and like trying different mediums and doing different things, like using it as my creative outlet to like express myself, but also like push those boundaries of like, oh, I've never done this before, so like let's give it a go, let's give it a try. Body painting is actually like something that I'm like kind of good at that I never really expected, where I was just like, we're gonna try something different and we're gonna do like character painting. And was it like the most fantastic body painting in the world? No, but like it was one of those where it was just like, oh, I actually do kind of have a talent for this and I actually really enjoy it.
Right.
It's yeah, 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 yeah.
So periodically from time to time you stream your makeup looks.
Yes, yes I do, yes I do.
So do you find that people come in and ask you a lot of just general makeup questions or special effects questions? Like what is it that people, like, when they're watching your stream, what is it that they do? Or
I feel like it's a really good balance of both. Like depending on like the look that I'm doing and like what it is that I'm going for. I think I get a pretty good balance. Like whether it's like a drag look or if I'm doing like just everyday beauty. If I'm doing something that's special effects related, or if it is something that's like body painting, or like any other different mediums that like I've used. I get a little bit of both, like really good specific questions about like what exactly it is that I'm doing, and even from like other streamers as well, who kind of like live in like that horror, like spooky related kind of
right.
like aesthetic when it comes to like their own brand and their own streams. I'll get a lot of questions like, "Hey, like, I'm gonna be like making some videos about something, and it's gonna have like some fake blood, or I want to try and make my own vampire teeth, or like I want to make my own
Right.
things, and like, do you have any like DIY suggestions on like, like what I could do at home to kind of like make my own?" And I'm just like, I actually do, like, and then just doing like everyday like kind of cosmetics, like everyday beauty looks, same thing. I get questions about that also. Or how can I like kind of take like what you're doing, like your exaggerated special effects look, and like is there any way like that I could kind of like tone it down maybe just a little bit, and like how would I be able to incorporate that into like an everyday look? And I'm just like, oh, you know what, that's a really good question. And from the best of my knowledge and my expertise when it comes to it, like how would you be able to kind of like segue and like incorporate that into like your everyday look? Like I want to go for something a little bit more dramatic in the eye, but like I'm not trying to be like a full zombie, but like like those
Right.
colors and like that kind of like look and aesthetic, like how would I like kind of push that into like an everyday look?
But I
Which is
mean,
fun. It's really
like, if
it's fun.
people should want to be zombies all day every day though. Like, let's be real.
Yeah,
Let
yeah, like why would you
I
not?
want to be a monster every day. Like, that's my goal in life. I I want to be a monster every day. Like, I feel like that's pretty fair. But that's a good segue into makeup being really fucking awesome, because makeup can completely transform a person. I think makeup is very important for people who don't necessarily feel good about themselves and in their own skin. Um,
Yeah, like 100%. I've shared on stream before, you know, like my personal stories, like working in cosmetics and just being blown away. Like I something as simple as like teaching somebody how to do a winged eyeliner because they thought that, you know, maybe their eye shape, you know, like I can't execute it, or I just don't have the eye shape for it. But like I've always loved the drama that comes with like an exaggerated winged liner. And I'm
right,
just like, oh, okay, like that's fine. Like let me show you how to like map out on your face, you know, where placement would go for like your bone structure and your eye shape, like what that would look like for you. And something that seems so relatively easy for me because that's my job, like that's what I do. You know, and it's just like kind of going in and then just being like bloop, there's a little flick of the wrist and there you go, and people are like, oh my god, like I've literally had somebody cry because they were just, you know, like
they
I've always
learned.
tried to achieve that look and I've never been able to do it. And like I'm sitting here watching you, like I have a mirror and I'm watching you do this, and now I can feel confident to go home and practice this myself so
Right.
I can perfect it and get it the way that I want.
And
Or
it,
somebody just not feeling comfortable in their own skin, you know, maybe they're having
right.
like issues with like acne or like discoloration, you know, or they have something that they want to conceal, and you know they've just, I've never had the experience, or I've never had anybody take the time actually show me like the right way to do it, or like what's going to work for me, and like how impactful that is to somebody to make them feel comfortable in their own skin is
I
pretty
think
amazing.
body dysmorphia is like a hell of a thing. Like people don't
Oh,
realize that makeup can help a lot with that. I know that there are always people out there that are gonna like poo poo all over that, but I think it's important that if you like wearing makeup, it's for you. It's not for anybody else. Like to make you feel confident in your own body and your own skin. And if there's things about you that you can't change, like I have things about my face that I absolutely hate, and I usually cover them up with makeup. But like it's nice when we have this tool available to us to make us just feel so much more confident. The media is just terrible, and everybody is always portrayed in some sort of bad light, no matter what you are, whether you're not, you're, plus size, whether you're goth, whether you're, whether you're just, a person with any sort of disabilities, or you're missing like an eye, or, like anything. Makeup is there to sort of help us kind of grow past that and find our own confidence again. And I think that's
oh,
really
100.
important.
Oh, so
I
important.
have days where I will sit and I'm just like, I'm going to do simple makeup today. And then it becomes a full on fucking production. And I'm like, why did I go this far? Oh, because it
Oh,
feels
oh,
good.
yeah. I have I can't tell you how many times I've been getting ready for work, and I have my like I have my everyday makeup, like
Right.
my no makeup where it's like it literally looks like skin. It's very thin in texture, you know, it's just to even out my skin tone. I don't go full ham with the brows, like I'm not blocking or carving out my brows, like just a little
Right.
bit of brow mascara just to kind of fluff them up. I'm like curling my lashes with a little bit of mascara, a lip tint on, you know what I mean? And where it's just the compliment that I get is like, "Oh, I didn't even know you were wearing makeup," and I'm just like, "Bitch, I have a full face on, like full face." It's just
Right.
the
It's
application and
subtle.
texture is subtle and lighter, but like if I were to take a makeup wipe and wipe all of this off,
You'd
like
see that I'd have clown face.
yes, you would see that. And then I have those days where I'm getting ready and I'm doing my you know, like, and I've gotten that down to a science, so it's like
Hmm.
it takes me like 10-15 minutes, and I'm just like I'm slapping this shit on and let's go. And then I'll be in the middle of it and I'm like, maybe a little bit of concealer to block out my brow a little bit, and maybe a little heavier under the eye cuz I'm like feeling a little bit more tired, and I'm like, and then I need some like bronzer here, and
Do you
let's
want to?
bring this blush all the way up, and then before you know it, like
It just gets
I'm
it's full
I'm
production.
full
Yep.
clown makeup, full clown makeup.
You just yeah, because you just go. You go and you can't stop, and then I'm the same way. Speaking of dark under eyes, you want to know what millennials are doing right now?
Lord.
It's my favorite fucking thing. Raver
Lord.
millennials are putting glitter on their under eye bags. Just
Yes!
fucking putting glitter. I love it. I'm living. If I see that you've got glitter under your eye bags, you are not only fun, but you are tired and you want to celebrate life. You know, like, it's a party up in here. Like, I know if you have glitter on your eye bags, you are ready to fucking party.
I have one of those like little quad stacks, and it's like it has like one pot is just like a glitter, and then it's like a lip, and then a blush, and one single eyeshadow.
Right.
And there's been times where like I'm running late for work, so I'm like, the quad stack it is, and this is my color theory, and this is what I'm going with. And one day I was getting ready, and I didn't conceal, like, I brought the foundation all the way up, but I was like, I don't have time to blend out concealer under my eye and like wait a couple of minutes and then bake on top of that. Like, I don't, like, we're not doing that. So one of them that I have is like this really fat, chunky, like gold glitter, like fat, chunky gold glitter. So I did my whole face, and then I just put fucking glitter and brought it all the way down. And all day people were just like, I love your glitter tears. They're really cute. And I'm like, thanks. I'm dead inside.
One of my favorite quotes is from Party Monster. Macaulay Culkin is on the talk show. It's like the Maury talk show or whatever. And he's like, honey, if you don't feel well and you've got a humpback, just throw some glitter on it and go dancing. And I've lived. That's my motto.
Oh, 100%. Like, you don't know what to do, just throw some glitter on it. That's really like an old school drag queen trick also. Like, if you're in the middle of blowing out your eyeshadow and then you like fuck something up,
glitter.
Just pack in a bunch of glitter. Just throw a bunch of glitter on it.
Looks like it's supposed to be there.
Yeah, it's supposed to be there. And then just move on. Move on. The best. It's the best.
So
it is the best way to save anything that's just gone crazy. Or like, same thing even with your eyeliner. Like, if I tell this to people all the time, if you're doing like a liquid eyeliner and it gets a little wonky, just get a really dark shadow and a smudging brush and just go in there and just smoky eye it is. We're blowing that shit out, and we're just gonna have a smoky eye.
Just raccoon it. Yeah. Fuck it. Nobody cares. Just do it.
No. And if they do, that's a them problem.
Right?
Yeah.
They have to look at you. You don't give a fuck because you don't have to look at
100%. 100%. Well, then, like, I also, like, I don't, like, me personally, like, I don't wear a ton of blush. Like, I just don't like the aesthetic of blush on myself. Like, I love when people were wearing blush, and when people wear way too much blush, I love that. Like, I love it. Like, it's fantastic. But, like, me personally, just because I live my own, like, spooky aesthetic, where I'll carve out my face, and then I do everything in very cool tones. Mm-hmm. So it amplifies my resting bitch face, and I think blush softens that, and right. I don't want to soften it. Like, no, I want my Morticia Addams carved out jaw. Like, I want cheekbones to the gods. Like, that's what I want. I'll put highlighter on there and everything, but like when it comes to blush, I'm like, no, I don't really do that. Like, I'm not a blush girl. Like,
my favorite thing lately, I have just been full blown using black eyeshadow as shading. I've just gotten to this point where I'm like, black eyeshadow and all the dark spots, highlights. I've been like, it's my thing.
Do you remember when we were at DragCon and I was like getting ready and I took a big pot of just black shadow and I was like carving out my jaw, and you were like, girl, that's black. And I'm like,
Yep.
Yes.
I started doing it ever since then. Stolen. I snatched it. It's mine now. I paint my neck black more often than I should. Realistically,
it's cool. Yeah.
Yes, it looks great in videos and it looks great on camera because it like frames your face better. I don't know. And then I do like the big black Morticia freaking cheeks and everything. Like it's nice. I've gotten to this point in my life because we're getting older. Everybody gets older, you know. I've gotten to this point where I am now dressing. This is my new favorite TikTok thing too. You dress the way you wanted to dress when you were in high school. Like when you couldn't afford to dress the way you wanted to dress. Now I'm just doing that all the time. People think I am so much younger than I am. Why am I going to have to want to dress like an old lady? Like, I'm not doing that.
Oh my god. But like the old ladies, those like eccentric old ladies, like I see their videos like on TikTok and they're just wearing their Technicolor dream coat of like their wildest fantasies, and it's like
I love them.
She was talking about like her bangles that she had made, and she was like, these are just out of like recycled toilet paper rolls. I was like, what? I'm like, they look like actual jewelry. And she's just like, no, like, just like kind of like took some Mod Podge and just kind of took some glitter and threw some things together and made my own accessories because I found this hat and I wanted my outfit to like match this hat. And I'm just like, you are living your best life.
Who's to say what you can and can't wear? When I see, so here, there's two things about this that drive me nuts. One, if you are an alternative person or an eccentric old person or whatever, you do not want to wear what is at the Gap. You don't want to wear what's at American Apparel. You don't want to go to Target and live their pioneer woman fantasy because it's fucking shitty. It's so boring. Why am I going to be put on this planet one time that I know of? That's another conversation for another time that I know of, and be incredibly boring my entire fucking life. The other thing about that is, why are we fucking tearing people down? That is driving me nuts. Like, I'm at this point in my life, right, where I have decided that I am no longer going to let other people's negativity affect my life. And that includes shaming groups. I've removed myself from any sort of shaming group. Well, the only one I'm part of is architectural shaming because that shit's real bad and it's hilarious. But it's not a person, right? It's not a person.
No. It's
a building. It's an inanimate object. I will shame an inanimate object. But I like left my nail shaming groups. I left my tattoo shaming groups. I was like, why? This is negativity in my life that I don't fucking need. Why are we shaming each other? Women are particularly bad. They bring each other down so much. And I don't get it. Like,
oh, the gays are the same.
Why? Why is it necessary?
I don't know. It's like this weird, like, hen pecking, like, oh, well,
I think it's jealousy.
Looks interesting. Oh, I'm sorry. You don't know about doing whatever the fuck you want? Sorry.
Right? Like,
I'm sorry.
The amount of people I've started kind of getting a little bit more popular on, like, YouTube and Facebook recently. And I've been getting, the normies are coming out of the woodwork. They're just like, weirdos? What? On the internet?
I've never in my life.
How dare they come out of the cornfields and the caves that they lived in? No, for seriously.
Shame. The shame on you.
And the little bell and everything.
Oh my god.
So the last 2 days.
I was at the Renaissance Fair and I was hissing all of the pilgrims.
Oh,
and one of them was like, that's our job. And I'm like, well, you're bad at it. Hiss.
I love it. So, like, the last few days, I've been getting really shitty comments on some of my videos. And I'm just like, guess what? You're going to Blocktown because that's where you're going to live now. I don't need your negativity. I'm tired of it. Like, I get what I look like. I'm not stupid. I put the contacts and eyelashes in this morning. Like, I fucking know what I look like. People just seem to think that I don't have any idea of how I look.
Yes.
It, like, blows my mind.
Even me just wearing jeans and a t-shirt and like going out and just being normal. And it's still like, I don't know. Well, like, I have my face tattooed. Like, I'm just heavily tattooed in general. So, like, people are just like, oh my god.
They don't know what to do. Although I will say, like, I do have some questionable, like, clothing items from Killstar that have, like, pentagrams on them. So like,
I mean,
I because I am in a very religious area and I'm not gonna be a dickhead, I do like tuck things away because I don't want to like offend anybody, like because I'm a nice fucking person, and I'm like, I don't really want to A, start a confrontation, and B, upset you today. There's no reason for me to do that. Like, you know, like
picking and choosing your battles.
Jinx.
Yes. And it's but also at the same time, like you shouldn't have to. Like you shouldn't have to do that. You know what I mean? Like that mindset of like same thing. Like I don't want to say that I have like, well, especially with my tattoos, but like I have like some clothing like I have this really, really nice dress shirt, and it's just got eyelets all like it's basically see-through.
Oh yeah.
And you know what I mean? And like it's a really nice, like it's one of those like it's a collared shirt, but like not a collared shirt that you wear a tie with. Like it's
I need to see this
they
shirt because it sounds so cool.
It was like, it's super sexy and everybody loves it. Like it's one of my favorite shirts.
I love
it. And I like, people don't know how to act, and then I'm tattooed, so like you can see all the tattoos through it, and then people are just like, what in the and I'm like, I'm not like burning babies over here, you know what I mean? Like I'm not.
I know. It's people get so offended by what other people do, and it's become a lot more predominant in our culture lately, and I just don't understand being offended on behalf of someone else who is not offended by something. It sort of feels like this roundabout way of just defending somebody who doesn't need defending, and it kind of is driving me nuts.
I think I came across this a couple of days ago. Like I was talking to somebody who dresses and looks relatively normal, but they saw some of the tattoos on my hand, so they started asking me questions, you know, and they were just like, oh, like religious practices, and I was like, oh, no, like these aren't, like they're not sigils or anything like that, they're for me. Like I thought they were cute, and they're a little on the spooky side, so I thought they were cute, and they decided to tell me about their religious practices,
oh my gosh.
Which is totally fine. It's just fine, but which happened to be more on the pagan side, which was fine.
Okay.
So they were opening up to me about, you know, their like what they believe in, who their deities are, like who they pray to, and I was just listening. I was just letting them talk, and I was just like, okay, you know, and I was like, well, like, you know, like my personal religious beliefs tend to fall a little bit more like on the pagan side, but like I don't really like I don't really practice a whole lot of anything, you know, like I live my life for me, and
non-practice,
you know,
that's totally, that's valid, like, it's entirely valid.
If I choose to move more into my spirituality, it's very unconventional, I'll say that.
It's for you. It's not for anybody
else. And it's for me.
Yeah.
But I was thinking about it, and then as they were telling me these things, like certain deities that they pray to, like in what they believe in, and like a lot of it was just like hitting wrong, you know what I mean? Where you're just like, I don't know if you fully understand who you're praying to, or what that deity actually represents.
I'm gonna blame Witchtok for that one.
100%.
Witchtok is toxic. Holy shit.
It was very much off of popular TV show named after a day of the week.
Oh no.
Where it was falling a little more into that versus actual like religious belief. I mean, and I was just like,
people okay, believe in media fluff, they can. It's
again, I'm not judging.
There's a Jedi religion, so why can't people make up their own religions in their head?
That is very true. That is very true.
As long as they're living their life and they're not hurting anybody, I could give a rat's ass. But
that's exactly what I said.
Why are they still like, they're like, are they like splaining to you, or are they trying to like convert?
A little bit of both. A little
like,
bit
that's
of like
when it gets really weird. You're like, what are you doing?
a little bit of like, I'm gonna like tell you about my religious practices,
Honestly, it's
and
probably
like what
Witchtok.
I believe in, and very much that. Which is there's a lot of validity to what
Right.
happens, and also there's a lot of miscommunication, and there's a lot to go through. But I think those people that are misinformed or don't have all of the information, or they're babies, like baby witches. I don't expect you
Right.
to know everything or like completely
There's so much
understand like what your
misinformation out
craft
there.
is. There's so
There
much,
a
but
lot.
those tend to be the loudest speaking people just because they're
They
really hyped up and they're
That's
excited about
everybody.
it.
Right.
So I think in that particular instance, like it's those people that don't either have all of the information, or they've been taught poorly or wrong. And
Right.
then those are the loudest people that are advocating for things. And then normal people are just like, well, you believe in this and it's evil. And it's like, well, no, that's not it at
Right.
all. Like that's pretty far removed from that. Like, it's actually quite the opposite. But then you have these poor people that have been misinformed and given the wrong information, or at least not all of the information. And then those are the people that are like the loudest speaking for like alternative groups. And it's just like,
Right. And it's
no,
not
not so much.
necessarily, yeah. I think it's a combination of witch talk. I think it's a combination of aesthetic witchcraft, which is kind of trendy. Like I have an unpopular opinion. People are gonna
Oh.
fucking hate me. I don't even care. I think spell jars are stupid. I think they're fucking dumb as shit. Like, if you're gonna do something, the spell jar is the most aesthetic witch talk thing that you could possibly do. It's fucking dumb. It's fucking dumb. It's
Yes.
also a waste, and they're terrible for the environment.
Um,
Like,
yeah, I kind of,
unpopular opinion. I think they're dumb.
I also have very similar opinion when people are making like moon water. And I'm just like, okay.
My favorite. Have you seen like the chaotic witches where they just take a whole? It's my favorite TikToks. They just take a whole thing of like fucking bottled water and throw it in their yard, and that's their. I love that shit. I'm like, bitch, that is my kind of witchcraft. Just take a whole pallet of water bottles, throw that shit in the yard, and go pick it up in the morning. Like, what the fuck?
Or
So good.
they'll just take like a big jug of water and they're just like, okay, and then they'll throw some crystals. Just,
Yeah.
there you go.
Did you know that crystals,
They put their
most of them
crystals.
are not water soluble? They're not supposed to.
Oh.
And then they drink that shit. And it's so toxic.
Oh.
Like,
I was just
legitimately,
gonna
you
say
could
that, like, they put
die.
the crystals in their water, and I'm just like, mineral poisoning is a thing. Like,
Well, selenite is toxic too. People, and it
my God,
dissolves in water. And
yes.
people put it in water. And I see those like crystal water bottles. You know, those crystal ones that have like the gems inside. Most of those crystals are not okay to drink. But like
Oh,
Chinese manufacturers, AliExpress, DHgate, all that stuff, they make a bunch of them. People buy them thinking, oh, these are super cool and trendy and blah, 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 new agey. And they buy them and they're literally poisoning themselves.
yes.
It's crazy. There are some crystals that you can put in water, but you shouldn't drink it. And that it's the same thing. Oh my God. I have a story. I used to work in a rave store / sex shop.
Oh.
Like back in the day, like a while ago. Women will put anything in their bits. And we had to literally tell people, do not put crystals up there.
But a lot of new age shops actually sell the little
And they're
crystal
so
eggs.
bad for you. You're not supposed to do that. Like, it's literally, you will poison yourself. Crazy to me. I can't even.
I really
I know, there are no words. There really aren't.
Oh, and also, like, it doesn't help that there's also, like, a bunch of celebrities who...
Yeah, and they don't know
have
what the fuck they're talking about either.
No, they really don't. They really
No
don't.
research.
And crazy thing is, like, if you go to, like, I'm sure we all know who I'm talking about, but like if you go to their website, like anytime that there's like new information, like all of it has disclaimers that are like, none of this has any scientific fact, none of this is founded
Right.
or
There's all sorts of like
doctors haven't said
Is it was snake oil?
snake
Snake
oil.
oil.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
exactly what
like,
it is.
literally they say that it has some sort of metaphysical power or crystals. Or my favorite is when like people build those pyramids over their bed to like realign their whole body, like their energy and shit. Have you seen those? They're like pyramids. They're made out of fucking metal, and they have or is it organite? Organite is literally resin with copper and crystals in it. It's not even a real like thing. And so people have these like organite pyramids above their bed, and they're like crazy. And I'm just like, they're spending thousands of dollars on these things. People have made money selling snake oil for years and years and years. It's happened forever. And I think it's interesting. Like, so I'm also pagan, and my by the way, happy Beltane. Last night was Walpurgis as well. We are halfway to Halloween, and that's exciting. So my practices are, like, I do sell things through my store, and the things that I sell through my store are generally things that they don't have magical properties. I'm not selling you spells. I'm selling you things to add to your own personal practices. And I think that people that sell shit like that, they're like, oh, it's been blessed by a goat in the Himalayas, and it is magical, and this and this and that. And I'm just like, bitch, I made this. It came from my hands, and it's for you to use for yourself. So, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not gonna sit here and sell somebody fucking snake oil, because that's not what I'm doing. You know, I'm making things that I use in my own practice, and I'm just selling them to other people to use in their own practices. I fucking hate Witchtok because it has become so fucking toxic. It started out great. It started out awesome. But I won't go on there. I'll post, like, when I reset my altar or whatever, I'll post those. But then there's even people that'll turn around and be like, why are you posting your altar? It's not going to work. I'm like, bitch, I don't give a fuck what you think about it. It's for me. And I'm showing you the process because I want you to see what I do as an eclectic pagan, you know? And I hope that people take what I do and they don't think that I'm just some fucking snake oil salesman, because that's literally not what I'm trying to do. And that's why I fucking hate spell jars, because they're dumb.
People put
stupid shit in them.
They take like these like Western ideas, like very Western ideas, and then like kind of like cross-pollinate and blend them in with like
aesthetic.
What they think. You know what I mean? We're like talking about that, like, oh, well, you can't post your altar. It's not a birthday wish, and if I tell you about it, it's not going to come true. Like, that's not how that works. Like,
that's what it feels like sometimes. People get so fucking bent out of shape over stupid shit. I'm just like, look, I'm going to blow cinnamon through my fucking door. I'm going to use rosemary in my food, and I'm going to post my altar.
Like, you know what I mean? Or like or just doing like my normal like spring cleanse, you know what I mean? Where it's like I'll make tea, but you know, it's like lemon and herbs and spices, you know, and it's my aromatic to cleanse my house.
It's perfectly valid for you to do double duty on things. This tea is for me, but it's also cleansing my house.
Like,
why does it have to be hard? It's not fucking complicated.
It also just smells nice. You know what I mean? Like,
well, and then lemon is isn't it like typically lemon doesn't like it perk you up too? I think it does. Like it re-energizes you. I think that's just most aromatics though. I think they kind of like relax. All of them do different things. Like different sort of like scents and fragrances. Like I'm a big scent person. I mean, I have my candle line, which I actually have to redo again because of COVID. Thank you, COVID. Um, but aromatics are so important to me. Like scents are so important to me, and I think that people really don't get the point of them enough. You know what I mean?
Oh.
I think like if you want your house to smell like garbage, then fine, but I don't.
Right?
You know, like...
I'm gonna cleanse my house. I
Mhm.
love my incense of choice.
Right.
I like my teas and my aromatics. Like those are
Mhm.
fantastic.
It just,
You know,
there's
and if
something about it
you
that
don't
just
like it,
makes you feel, it's, I
feels
have,
clean.
yes, and it is perfectly acceptable, and I think everyone should do this. Romanticize your life.
Oh yeah, 100%. Oh, 100%.
You know what that means, right? A lot of people are
Oh
doing it.
yeah.
It's okay. I think that you should live your life as if you, like, if you want to believe that you are in a Wes Anderson film and you're making your coffee in the morning and that's how you want to imagine making your coffee in the morning, fucking do it. Use your
Oh,
imagination. Feel good about yourself. You're like totally allowed to romanticize your life. I love tea because there is a certain ritual that goes into making a cup of loose leaf tea. And I don't think
oh.
people appreciate that enough. I mean, tea bags are great, but I will legitimately make loose leaf tea, and I have like a ton of different little teacups and pots and all sorts of shit. And I theme my teas. So like if I have my Lost Boys cup, I'll use my little baddie diffuser or
Oh.
infuser, you know, like I'll mix and match and I'll make sure everything kind of like flows. And that shit's so cute to me. Like that gives me serotonin on a level that
Yeah.
I just can't get it anywhere else. I know it's so dumb, but it's such a small thing that in that
Oh.
moment I have romanticized making this cute little themed cup of tea, and I'm going to enjoy the fuck out of it.
Oh, 100%. Like
You know?
you have to find comfort
In life.
and in your peace in life, like
Mhm.
whether it's making a cup of tea or like making your breakfast or making some toast or I don't even know, like
Everything,
it's just
so since we're still going on about this conversation, everything I do in my life now, since we were talking about like getting rid of negative energy and all that, and negative people, and like cutting all the essentially cutting out all of the toxicity from your life. A few years back, which I will tell everyone, I was actually went to a psychiatrist. Basically, I
okay.
found out that I was depressed, like medically depressed, and it was a thing that I was going through for a really long time. And I was on depression medication for a little bit, and I was going through a lot in my life, and my psychiatrist was pretty new agey, and
Oh,
I'm kind of glad that he was, because he taught me this thing called mindfulness. Mindfulness is a state of being in your everyday life where you can sort of meditate on anything. So like making my cup of tea or lighting a candle or just taking a moment to just be outside in the fresh air and like center myself and clear my mind and get rid of all the fucking negativity all the
yeah.
time. And so like I learned mindfulness, and he gave me a bunch of apps for my phone, Calm, Insight Timer, a bunch of other things. Super great. Meditation is amazing. I understand that I might be a special case because I didn't want to take therapy. I don't believe in therapy for myself because I feel like my therapy is done through other means. Dancing or being creative is my therapy. And
Yeah.
I understand that like from a medical standpoint, people do need to be on medications. People do need to find other ways to cope, and I am not saying that just being mindful is going to work for everybody, but it really worked for me. And even to this day, I will still stop and take a moment and go, am I being, can I practice mindfulness to mellow myself out? I am so high strung. My anxiety is like at a 10 all the time. And I always joke that I'm a chihuahua because you know how chihuahuas are? Like in life, they just shake all the time, whether they're cold or excited or hot
Yeah.
or, cold or upset. So like I always
It
joke that
doesn't
I'm,
matter the emotion, it's just
no,
always
it's
a
just
shaking that
shaking.
goes. Yes.
Yeah. So like I'll take a second and I go, am I not practicing mindfulness in this moment? No, I'm not. Why am I being a chihuahua? Because I'm not taking care of myself.
No, and it's so true.
Mm,
Like like I was given I was given the diagnosis of having depression at a pretty early age. You know, I was like in like elementary school, junior high, and not just seasonal depression, but like clinical depression. And it's something that I've always lived with my entire life. And I know, like, alternatively, like, you know, you make your chosen family, and you know, like, you have those like conversations where you talk about like your life and
Right.
your struggles. And there's always that one friend that's like, quote unquote, normal, and you're just like making
They
those
just
jokes, and it's just like, I'm like, or they're telling their story about their life, and you're just like, what is that, like, what, like
like
that
that's
you're,
you're the weirdo.
yeah, like
Your
you're
life is
just
normal? Oh my god.
happy all the time for no reason, like things are just cool just because, like, what, like, I don't know what that's, I
For
don't know what the fuck
real.
you're, I don't know what the fuck you're
Imagine.
talking about. Like, none of that makes any sense to me. You're living in a wonderland. Like, none of that. But I try to remember, and like grounding yourself is always
Hmm.
really important. But like the actual physical act of like taking your shoes, your socks and shoes off and just walking barefoot on the earth,
Oh my
like
god. I don't like
like
shoes.
oh my god.
I
Okay.
fucking
So
hate shoes.
when I was little, I was that fucking kid, like, where it was just like, where
Running
are your
around the
shoes?
neighborhood
Yeah,
barefoot.
and they're just
That's me.
barefoot. I was just that fucking barefoot kid. I loved being barefoot. And then I don't know why. I mean, I guess just being an adult and like having to go to work and do shit where you just wear shoes all the fucking time.
I'm barefoot
And
all the
then,
time.
you know, I'm just now getting back into like, no, if I'm gonna go, like, I'll have my morning coffee and like I'll go sit outside and
You
listen
just
to
need
the
to go out and
birds and
touch grass.
like literally just go out and like, I'm not
Yeah.
saying that's a cure for everything, but like just those little things, like where I have to like remind myself like to relax in a
Right.
moment. And it's like, oh, like I made my cup of coffee, like I'm gonna take like this 20 to 30 minutes as downtime anyways to like wake up and like get my day started and do whatever I need to do, you know, like answer emails or go through the mail, or you know
Right.
what I mean, like just whatever I need to do to decompress to wake up in the morning. I'm not a roll out of bed kind of guy. Like I
I
have to, you got to give me some minutes. You got to
Me
give me some
too.
time.
I think it's
So
important to
like,
routines are important.
yes. So like I'll take that time though to like, I'll go sit outside at the patio and, you know, like have the sun wash over me in the morning and literally take my shoes off and
That's the
like,
best feeling.
oh, it's so
The
good. It's so
best.
good. It starts, it hits different. It starts your
Hmm.
day off and you're just like, oh, okay, like I'm ready for this. Like I can do this. But yeah, like I think finding mindfulness in your little chores or just like
Yes.
just your daily life is
Have you,
so important.
speaking of finding mindfulness in chores, have you seen the tavern TikToks?
Oh,
People are like, when you are cleaning your kitchen at the end of the day, turn down your lights and put on tavern music and just be like a
okay.
cleaning, closing up shop tavern wench and live your tavern wench fantasy. And it makes cleaning so much more enjoyable. I haven't done it yet,
Okay.
but I was thinking about
Okay.
it. Also, I did learn something really fucking cool from TikTok that I'm going to sidebar here. Put a Tamagotchi on your water bottle. Because whenever you feed it, you go to drink your water, and that's you getting enough water throughout the day because you have to feed that fucking thing
Mm,
every 5 minutes.
that makes sense. That
I
makes
was
sense.
thinking about doing it.
There's a there's a new there's like a new app on your phone that I've been seeing people talk about. It's basically a Tamagotchi, but like it's also supposed to like be specifically for your mental health. Like, and it gives you like,
What?
yeah, like it gives you like
Do you know what it's
specific
called?
times. Oh, I didn't download it because I was like, I don't need that, but I was like, I should have.
Mental health Tamagotchi.
It's like,
There is a mental health app based on around a bird virtual pet. Oh, it looks like a bird. It's like a little penguin.
I think that's what it is. I've just been seeing
It's
people talk about
it's
it like
called
on
Finch,
TikTok.
and the icon is a bird. Thank God for Reddit. It's called
Yes, it
Finch, and the
is.
icon is a bird face.
Yes, a self care Tamagotchi. I mean,
How
I haven't
cool!
I haven't personally downloaded it, so like I don't know like how well it works or like the
Is it
parameters
free?
around it. I don't know. That's actually a good question. Let's find out.
Um, I also
It's
I I
self-care.
got a I went from living in a place where it was very quiet and everything wakes me up. I'm a fucking light sleeper. And I moved to a place where it's very loud all the time, back into like a city. Um, so I had to get one of those like sleep headbands so I can just
Yeah.
literally just relax, because noise gives me anxiety sometimes. Like if
Oh.
it's just cars and horns and whatever, like some people can sleep through that. I cannot. Absolutely cannot. So I'll sit there and I'll toss and turn, and it raises my blood pressure and it raises my anxiety so bad to where I get stressed out, and then I start getting angry because
Oh
now
yeah.
I'm mad that I cannot sleep, and I'm mad at myself for being
Oh.
mad and full of anxiousness. It's just a vicious
It's
cycle
a
of bullshit.
It's a cycle. It's a terrible
So
cycle.
I have things that I can do, that like I got one of the sleep headbands, and I'll just put on like that zen fucking spa music. Out.
Oh yeah.
I am out. Like, I don't know what it is. Rain. I love rain. I did move to a
Oh,
place where there's a lot of rain and it's really nice.
thunderstorms,
Mm,
thunderstorms. Oh my god. Bilateral music. Oh my god,
so
bilateral music
good.
is
It just
so
itches your
good.
brain in a way
It
that
just
other things can't itch your brain.
yeah, no, like I'll just lay in bed and I'll just put my phone behind me. I wouldn't even put headphones in. Like I'll just put my phone right behind my head and I'll just lay back
Well,
and I'm
that's smart.
just
You didn't even
like,
think about it. You could do that like a part too.
yeah, and just sit there and just listen to music and like hours will go by and I'm just like, "Oh Lord, like I didn't even realize that that much time has gone by."
I feel like the art of relaxation has been lost in this generation. Like I think we're all relearning how to reprogram ourselves past, like I've noticed like in the last few years a lot of people stopped using Facebook, a lot of people stopped using, like TikTok's one thing, but like a lot
Oh,
of people don't use their social media accounts anymore. Like there are friends and family that I haven't seen in forever that I'm like, I keep Facebook because I need the pages, but I also kept it because I'm like, oh, let's keep in contact. Nobody wants to
yeah.
use socials anymore. They just want to live their lives, and I think that's really great. um we're kind of figuring out that social media is a terrible place to be.
Well,
Like
then,
it's
like our generation in particular, like we were constantly just told, like you have to be do like what do you mean you're not doing anything? Like
Mhm.
you need to be like if as a kid or like if you're not playing, why aren't you cleaning? Why aren't you doing your homework? Like
Right.
why aren't you
And I
with
think
friends? Like what do you mean you're just like relaxing, reading a book to yourself? Like you should be out doing something or you need to learn a hobby and you need to be busy. Like you should be busy all the time.
that
And
has
then we're constant.
tortured me in my adult life.
Oh my god, and I'm just like and it just my anxiety just goes through the roof because now
Why are we also
that's how
anxious?
I'm because I'm just programmed. Well, like I have ADD, so like not only am I
Mm,
dealing with depression, but I'm dealing with ADD and then my
right.
anxiety that's on top of that. So like it is so difficult for me to actually like find time to like relax. And when I
Right.
do have that time to relax, I am so guilt-ridden because I'm
That's
not
the
doing
word.
anything.
The
Yes.
guilt is
Yes.
so rough. Like, you know what's crazy? I just lost my cat. And talk about
Oh,
guilt.
yeah, I'm so sorry about
It
Kreia.
she was she was fucking 20 years old, my guy. Like she was old.
She was old.
I did get a
She was
cute
old.
little paw print memorial after I did. Like I went into that. You know when you know when your animal is not doing well. Like you know. Like I took her in. I made an appointment. I said she's not doing well, and I said I'm probably not leaving here with her. I am fine now, but she was my familiar. She was a bitch, but she was my cat. I got her when I left home. She had been with me through some of the worst and best times of my life, and she lived. She was older than most people. Okay,
Yeah,
most
she
human
was
beings. She was
she was
well
an old
traveled.
cat.
She went back and forth across the United States a couple of times. She went on road trips. That bitch went everywhere with me. And there were even times where like I wasn't doing well and she had to stay with other people, but I always picked her up because she was my cat, you know. She annoyed the shit out of me. she's the reason why I will never have cats again. But she was my partner for a long, long time. And so when she had passed, like I knew when I went in there, she wasn't coming out. Right. So I honestly don't even remember the topic I was trying to get to, but because I got distracted.
Guilt. The guilt of relaxing.
The guilt of relaxing. Okay. Yeah. So let me go back. For about 2 years, she had been diagnosed with like a kidney disease. So my cat was deteriorating for 2 years and I had to have special food, which ended up costing me an additional like $80 a month, on top of like the amount of cat litter we went through was unheard of, because she just drank so much water to try to make herself feel better, and her kidneys were failing, and it was just a whole thing. So she literally became like a little tiny old person that depended on me. And it was really hard because it was like 2 years of like cat pee on the couch, cat pee on the floor, cat whatever, vomit, everything. It was really fucking hard. It was literally like taking care of a person that couldn't take care of themselves anymore. And so I felt guilty at the end of the day doing anything for myself, because I felt that I hadn't tended to her yet. You know what I mean? There were a couple of days that went by where I'm like, I will clean her box tomorrow, because it was a lot. Like, it got to be exhausting. And now I'm in this weird place where I feel like, you know, when you see movies and it's like the end of the movie and the guy hangs up his hat and his keys and he leaves, and like your shift is over and you feel some sort of relief in that you've done your job and now we're good and now I can relax. That's how I fucking feel. And I know that's really shitty, but
not at all.
Feel like I'm not guilty anymore for taking care of myself, because I had this little thing that I was taking care of for 2 years straight. And now I'm like, wow, this is what it feels like to not feel guilty about taking a bath or reading a book, or it's just crazy. You know, like,
I
guilt
totally understand.
Is like crazy.
Before we lost Luna, you know, like, we didn't realize that his kidneys were failing, and that's why he was having so many issues. And same thing,
they have accidents everywhere.
He's on medication. He has special food. Constantly having accidents, like, and not like normal vomiting, like projectile, like right. His full body weight in like vomit, where I'm just like, I don't even understand where this is coming from out of your little baby body. Like, I don't get it. And then animals being like, knowing that they're sick, but then at the same time they don't always act like 100% sick,
right?
So
they just live.
They just live, and then like getting upset at them because it's just like, oh, they went to the bathroom on the carpet, or they just threw up.
Yeah,
it's just like, oh my goodness, you know what I mean? And then you being mad in your head because you're just like, this, you know, sucks. Like, I can't believe, like, yeah, like, this sucks. Like, you know that you're not supposed to go to the bathroom outside of the litter box. Like, how dare you? Like, why would you do that? You know what I mean? Yeah. And then realize, like, really
you're sick. Mad at them because they're sick.
You're sick and it's not your fault. And then
it's really rough.
Same thing, like, then
like
at the time my partner, like, well, yeah, like, we couldn't go on like longer extended trips or like on vacation anywhere, or if we did, like, Luna had to go and stay with somebody, or somebody had to stay at our house and make sure that because we couldn't, like,
constant care.
Yeah, like, I can't leave him, like, you know what I mean? Like, he was on medication, but also medicated food. So not only is he taking medication, but he has to eat 3 times a day, but very specifically, and it actually has to be like measured and weighed. And like, this is oh my God, just so much. And so heartbreaking, like, him actually dying.
Even leaving the house, like, you just feel so bad. You're just like, I'm only going to dinner. Is my cat gonna be okay? Like,
oh God, like, I'm gonna go run to the grocery store and I could come back and
that's even just a normal task that you're feeling guilty over.
Oh.
Yeah,
so
it's hard.
It was it was definitely like very soul crushing because I loved same thing. Like, you know, like Luna had gone with us across the country multiple times, and
Right.
you know, like he had lived with us forever, and you know, he was a great cat. Like he was a great cat. Like he was a wonderful cat,
My cat
except
was
for
not a
all the
great cat.
messes.
My cat was horrible. And you know what's funny? I told everybody when I got her, I said, this bitch is going to live forever just to spite me. And she fucking
And
did.
she did. She really did. She was like, I'm going to hang on as long as I can.
Was
just
so
to piss
angry.
you off.
She was so angry when we were in the vet that I couldn't even be upset. Because she was just growling the entire time I was taking her to get put down.
Oh.
I was like, this is not what I need right now. Like, you already, I'm trying to help you. As soon as they gave her the drugs to like help her on her way, she mellowed out. That was the most peaceful I'd ever seen her in her entire life. I know that's fucking terrible, but like, because she was basically born to be retired. She wasn't a terrible cat at first, but she just, as she got older,
just grumpy.
She was just in pain. Like at some point she was just in pain all the time, and she just became really worse. She just got worse. So I don't blame her for that at all. But I am relieved by a lot, and I don't feel guilty.
100%. As devastating as it was to actually like lose him and let him go, like at the same time being so relieved that he was no longer in pain, and
you get your time back.
Get my time back.
Yeah. It's kind of wild how committed we are to our animals. Did you know there's people on this planet that are not, I mean, everybody knows, but some people think animals are just whatever, they're fucking animals, they're livestock. But
those people can go fuck themselves, because I don't understand that at all.
I don't either. Like, did you see those, like, when you remember when hurricane, was it like Irene or something was happening in Florida? I don't know, I think it was Irene or something like that. And people were just like leaving their dogs and shit tied up like in their yards, and it was like flooding. And I'm just like, you never saw that? Okay. They were just like,
oh, I mean, yeah, I don't understand that at all. Like I 100% do not understand.
I don't get that. Like that to me, like I get that you have an animal. If it's your kid's animal, whatever, what have you, it's a life. No matter, it's a life. And you're going to sit here and let this fucking thing drown because you evacuated now and you've tied this thing up. There's a reason why they let horses go in fires, you know, and emergency situations, because they have nowhere to put them and they are safer running off, and they will find them later if they find them. Most of the time they do round them all up, but there's a reason why they let horses and livestock run out of the pens so they don't trap them and kill them. And in those situations, why are you going to do that to a dog of all things? Like a dog.
Like, if you're in a situation and it's like a natural disaster and you physically cannot take them with you, why would you
let them out?
Yeah, like let them go.
Right, because they're gonna drown. The amount of dogs and stuff that I saw standing on top of houses and shit, I'm just like, I would never fucking do that to my dog. My dog is my pet. No.
Oh my god, I see sad videos.
Guilt?
I see sad videos and like I just instantly think of Pepper, and I'm just like, if anything ever were to, oh my god, like you have no idea how, well, yes you do, but like you have no idea how devastated I'm gonna be when Pepper's gone. Like,
right. And I think the same thing about
that dog
Mugen.
is my baby.
If you left a dog tied up in the middle of a hurricane and you have evacuated, what are they gonna eat? You just gonna leave them there? You literally have left this animal to die.
Yes. And
crazy.
I understand. I mean, I don't know. And then like you hear people like rationalizing it where it's just like, well, human life is more important than an animal's. Yeah, we couldn't take our dog and like, you know what I mean? Like my human life is more important than my animal's life. Yeah, but like
tying them up, that's completely unfair and does not give them any chance.
No, and like don't you have that responsibility as a higher life form?
Yeah,
take care of them. You know what I mean?
Well, like, we should also still be taking care of our planet, which we don't fucking do.
Oh.
But like,
that's future problems. Those are future problems. We'll deal with that later.
Oh god. Oh man, it's awful. But yes, that's the mentality, and it sucks. I think that people should really give a shit. It would be nice if more people gave a shit. Just a little shit, not a whole lot of shit. Just a little tiny one.
Just a little bit.
Smidge, just a little nugget.
I don't know. I don't know. That's crazy talk. Now we're living in some kind of like dystopian universe of, like peace, because that'll never happen.
I've always joked that until aliens come down, we are always going to be fighting ourselves.
I don't even know if that's going to help.
I don't
if
think
anything, that might make it
even
worse.
Want to talk to us at this point. Malicious actually, my partner actually had a very interesting thing to say. He said he had a theory about aliens. You ready for this? Yeah,
let's go.
The Earth is the Australia of the universe. We are a prison planet where they put all the bullshit to get rid of it. And we are living in a prison planet because we couldn't cooperate with other aliens.
But
I don't know where he heard that theory, but it's fucking funny as shit. And it makes
which is a really big possibility. And then that brings me back to like the new trend on like TikTok where people are putting shit up against a mirror with a piece of paper and they're just like, how does the mirror know that something's on the other end? Like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, oh my god, are you serious right now? Like, how does the mirror know what's behind the paper?
I think that there's something to be said about the movie Idiocracy.
Oh my god.
Mike Judge, I think he's a prophet.
I have a little fun fact for you about Idiocracy.
Is this the Crocs fact?
Yes!
Fucking say it! Tell everybody.
We're all wearing dum-dum shoes.
Tell everybody how that came about, because I'll let you tell the story. It's very cool.
Well, the lead costume designer wanted to find shoes for the characters, but wanted to find the most ridiculous, dumbest shoes they've ever seen in their entire life. So they went searching to find a small independent company.
They didn't have a big budget either, which is crazy.
No, they didn't have a big budget.
Idiocracy looks like it has a huge budget.
It looks like it does, but I mean, that's the glitz and glamour of Hollywood, I guess.
Right.
So this costume designer finds this independent company that's manufacturing shoes, and they're like a startup, and they're looking for people to invest.
They weren't even on
the market. They're
just
the
yet.
Dumbest. No, they weren't even on the market, and they were just like the dumbest, ugliest shoes, and they had like a couple of prototypes, and so those are the shoes that they went with because they were just so stupid and so ugly looking that they were like, these are going to be perfect. They even brought up the fact, like, I think some of the producers brought up the fact, they were like, what if by the time we make the movie and it's out and released, like somehow these shoes are popular and like people love them? And they were just like, no, there's no way. There's no way that this is going to happen because it is like the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen in my life. Crocs. That's where Crocs came from.
Those were the Crocs. They didn't even... Sport mode wasn't even invented yet. Like... You know what I mean? Like...
Oh my god. Everybody's literally walking around wearing dum-dum shoes.
I think there's something to be said for Mike Judge's intelligence level, because I feel like he's predicted so many things. I think that he's a brilliant artist. I mean, look at Idiocracy. It was made before Crocs came out. Look at King of the Hill, which is getting a reboot, finally. I think they're bringing back everybody, except for, I think they're changing the actor who played Khan because they want to be like, what's the word?
PC.
Well, they want like a Vietnamese actor to play. Oh, well, actually, no, I think they're just getting rid of Khan, which is really weird because, like, as King of the Hill is one of my favorite shows. Like, hands down, will always be one of my favorite sitcoms. I think it was before its time. Well, so was Daria, though. Beavis and Butthead is whatever. He got his foot in the door with that one, but there were still elements of like Daria and King of the Hill in Beavis and Butthead. But I think Mike Judge is really on to something. I think he's an incredible writer, and I think that he has a thought process about the world and humans that we don't quite understand, and he puts that into his films, like Idiocracy. Like, the motherfucker practically predicted the future. Like, look at Idiocracy and the things that are happening in that film versus the things that are happening today. People believe everything they fucking see on the TV, on the internet, on TikTok, and they believe every fucking thing. They
so
won't,
ridiculous,
right? So, like, that in itself, like, just the mentality behind all of that, like, and like things being over sexualized and things being taken over by major corporations, like, if you break it down and you really look at Idiocracy as a film and what it represents, that motherfucker predicted the future.
Oh.
Like,
we're really not that
did.
far off.
We aren't. I mean, minus hopefully we don't decide that water isn't worth a damn, but you know. Listen, we still got Terry Crews, so President Camacho is still available to, you know, like.
I mean, but it's also I mean, I don't know, like, ridiculousness about, like, that we pay for water and that we have bottled water and that we do this to ourselves and we allow major companies to do this to us, and I'm just,
it's horrifying.
Well, then those major companies stealing
natural resources and rebottling
stealing
them.
natural resource and then rebottling it, so it's literally just profit. Like, they're not paying for anything. Like, we're paying for, I don't know, it is absolutely wild.
The world today is very stressful. Like,
it's just I don't understand.
I feel like there's nothing that we can do to stop it at this point. We just survive for as long as we can. And we just try to do our best.
Because there's the new generation, like the elementary school kids. What are generation? Is it Generation Z? No,
I don't know.
What is it? I don't know. The newest generation. But, like, have you seen those kids? Those are those fucking kids that are out, like, like, they're like in like fifth grade, and they're out protesting. Like, these kids are like full on, like, they are balls to the wall. Like, they're like taking all the best parts of, like, every generation, where they're like,
I'll have to look
society from, like, Generation X, where they're just like, fuck the man and I'm gonna do whatever I want. And then, like, our go-to attitude of, like, no, I don't like this, don't tell me what to do, I'm gonna live my life. You know what I mean? And it's like they really took, like, fuck around and find out. And also, I don't give a fuck. Like, no fucks given. They've fully encompassed that, where I'm just like, we have, like, 10-year-olds that are literally...
I'm here for it.
Boycotting schools, like, literally just, like, walking off campus with giant signs that are just, like, they're, you know, protesting for women's rights and, like, trans rights.
Change is not going to happen unless people make it happen. We are going through such a weird, gross political climate right now, like, in so many ways. Did you know that, like, school teachers are getting, like, they're just, like, getting rid of them? There's a couple of schools that shut down in, like, Missouri, I think, recently. I mean, with all of the, you know, craziness that's going on in schools, I don't really want to go into that because it's a lot. I wouldn't feel, and I'm not trying to knock on parents. I think parents are really awesome. I think we need to, you know, parents are great. One of the reasons why I didn't want to have children, like, I thought about it and I realized that I don't want to raise a kid in the current climate that we are currently in. Because we're heading towards a really bad direction, and I don't agree with it. Like, I would have to homeschool my kid. I would have to make sure my kid isn't gonna get, you know, unalived at school. Like, that's fucking horrifying.
I know, it's absolutely fucking terrifying. It's like, ridiculous.
We didn't even have to deal with that. We were allowed to just free range all over the fucking place, and we, for the most part, didn't die. You know,
no, we were, like, literally, like one of the last generations of come home when the street lights come on.
Right.
schools want to have all of like well, we need to have these approved curriculums, and then we need to have all of these approved I don't know. I also love conspiracy theories, and I love going down those crazy conspiracy theories, especially like teachers that are like, well, like college professors that are like, oh, like that teach that like specifically teach like history and like teach about like war crimes, and you know
Aren't
what I
they
mean,
getting
like
rid
really
of a
get
lot
in.
of like any sort of like historical, like aren't they really like wiping books and stuff these days? Like they're not teaching
Oh,
kids
there's
anything.
no, and like relative, like in certain states, like they're I know that they've already started banning books. Like this
Yeah.
is happening now. Like
It is the
it
book ban
sounds
thing. I just
crazy.
read about it. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like
I thought this was like the 2000s. Why are we like going back to the 1950s? Like, I
I
don't
don't understand.
understand.
Is
This
literally
is
going backwards, and I don't get it. I don't get
I
it at
don't
all.
I don't know. It's just people. I wish I could wrap my head around anything that's going on right now, but I just feel like a crazy person. I feel like I'm the crazy person surrounded by all of these people who are normal because I don't believe in what all of this other bullshit is going on, and I can't figure out why it's happening. So like I
No.
feel like at the end of the day, like I'm losing my mind because all this shit is happening, and I'm like, these are easy fixes. Just don't be shitty to one another, which is why I'm trying to be so positive in my life. No, I'm serious. It's an easy fix.
No,
Don't be
it's
shitty
an
to your
easy
fellow
fix, but
humans.
it's so
So
difficult for people.
complicated. I
So
know.
complicated. Like, oh, like okay, retail story. Like,
Oh, yay. Let's
I'm
go.
I'm visiting one of my stores, one of my locations, and this customer comes up and asks me if I could help them. So I'm like, yeah, of course. She's over by like the fragrance area, and they have like the little like wall that has like the travel size fragrances.
Mhm.
And this particular store is like right in the middle of like going through like inventory. Like they had just gotten like new shipment, so like they're putting stuff out. And like the little like sample like mini size wall is like basically empty because they haven't
Right.
put out the new shipment yet. So she's just like, well, I'm looking for a particular fragrance. And she was like, I know it's by this brand, but I know they have like 10 different scents, and I don't know which one it is unless I see the box. And I was like, oh, okay, no problem. I was like, well, they're still putting out like shipment. So full size items are right here. Like you can test it, you can smell
Right.
it, and you can see what the packaging actually looks like. They're right here. And she's just like, well, I need the small size. And I'm
You're like,
100% understand. Like, I totally get you. I totally get you. They just don't have them out yet. So if you would like to sample from the 10 different fragrances so you can see which one, so you can smell them,
and then
like
we
these
can
are
get
just the
that
full
one
size
for
bottle.
you. Right.
And then you can narrow down which one you want, and then I can go get it.
Mhm.
And then she's just like, no, I don't think you understand. Like, oh, okay. You've gotten
Here-
there. Like, all right. That's
Can we
where
talk
we're
about
going.
Can we talk about the modern Karen?
Like, yes. Like, so I'm
I
like,
don't
okay.
understand the upset about some shit. I think that they all just got their panties in a wad. Did you hear the theory? Speaking of which, let's go back. Did you know there's a theory that boomers are all Karens because they ate lead? Have you heard that theory?
Probably. No, but that sounds about accurate.
Because
That
all
sounds
of their
about-
pipes, like this is the theory that all of their pipes had lead in it, and so they're all going loopy
Oh,
because and acting like Karens because and it's only the particular. I mean, sure there are some younger ones, but primarily that particular age group is the one that's kind of getting loopy, and they think it's because they were drinking water with a lot of lead in it. Like that's legitimately a theory that people have.
I mean, which is a pretty accurate theory because
I mean, it's lead is you're not. Yeah, that'll fuck you up.
That happened to an entire Roman city where all of their sewer, all of their aqueducts were made from lead, and they all died because they were all drinking lead.
So, like,
I'm
you know
like,
how pipes have been
that sounds
replaced in older houses and stuff, right? So that's
that
the
sounds
theory.
sounds pretty
Pretty
fucking accurate.
viable. I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think it's
I
reasonable.
really wouldn't be surprised. I don't know, but this lady is just like, she wants to argue, so I'm just like, okay. It's like, well, just to let you know, the small travel sizes don't have testers because the full size is right here. So I was like, even if I do go get the small, like, even if I go get all 10 of the smaller
Baby
travel
steps.
sizes,
You were getting there. Baby steps.
I like, you're not going to be able to smell the fragrance in the travel size because the full size testers are right here. So you have to determine which scent is the one that you're looking for. And she's just like, well, I don't understand why you can't just fucking bring them all out.
How dare.
Ma'am,
How dare
ma'am,
you?
there's like a 100 fragrances that are like small, little, tiny travel size.
And you're not going to be able to
You
open
want-
any of them.
And you're not going to be able to open and smell any of them because the full size fragrance, these are the testers. You have to test these no matter what.
Right.
And then she looks like just so super fucking confused where I'm like, this is not rocket science. Like, I don't understand like why you're staring at me like I'm crazy. And then she was like, well, I don't understand why you just can't give me the smaller ones. I'm not going to steal them. And that's just when I stopped the whole thing. Literally put my hand up like a Karen myself, and I was like, look, nobody said that you were going to steal anything, and I don't understand why you took this conversation there out of everything. And I was like, that's a you problem. And I was like, I don't actually even fucking work here. And then I just, because I'm technically not an employee of that establishment. Like, I just go in and I'm just facilitating like education for the employees, but I'm not an employee here. So I'm like, I don't know who the fuck you're getting sassy with, because I know it's not me, because I don't care. I can tell you to go fuck off. I don't work here.
So I think there's something to be said for being like, speaking of, since you were mentioning that she was accusing you of thinking she was going to steal, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I go into stores a lot and looking the way I do. I mean, I don't usually have the contacts on, but I do have like leggings and combat boots and a big oversized black t-shirt half the time because, you know, I dress like a goblin when I'm not like on stream. So
Same.
I'll have my hair and it's blue or teal, whatever. And I will sometimes have like my goth makeup. Otherwise, I just bareface, whatever. People think that I'm going to steal from the stores all the time. I don't know why. I don't know what it is. It happens a lot. Actually, anywhere I go, it doesn't matter if it is in California, if I'm in Boston, if I'm in Indianapolis, if I'm in fucking, you know, anywhere. People will assume that when I go into a store, because of the way I look and the way I dress and present myself, that I am going in there to steal things.
Oh, because you're a degenerate.
I am a degenerate, but it doesn't mean I'm a degenerate that steals things. Like, as soon as somebody starts eyeballing me from like over a counter or like following me around the store, I fucking leave. I was like, you don't need my business if you can't let me shop. Like, that shit fucking annoys me. But I'm sure I'm not the only person that gets that.
No, not at all. I mean, I don't know if I ever like perceive it as the look of like, oh, people think that I'm stealing. But I definitely get, well, like, especially during like the winter months, like one of my favorite jackets is this, it's not like a full trench coat. Like it like lengthwise probably comes down to like my knees. So like, It's not super long, but it's not, you know. And the reason why I bought it is because it's made out of it's almost like sweatshirt material, like that like jersey knit kind of material. So it's really lightweight.
Coat. Mm-hmm.
It's a full wraparound, so like kind of like a wrap dress. It actually has like the tassels on it, and it like fully wraps around. But it has a full executioner hood. So like when I put my hood on, like it's like down here, and I can still see through it.
Right.
Yeah, like it's a big. It's basically my Little Red Riding Hood like just in black instead of red. But
Right.
that's basically what it is. That's like the easiest way to describe it. It's like Little Red Riding Hood in my like, oh my god, do people like just fucking look at me like I'm the devil? Like I am literally Satan coming in,
It's
and
crazy
they're just
because
like, what in the fuck is happening right now?
You can't get a break in the winter, and you definitely can't get a break in the fucking summer because then they can see your tattoos.
Oh my god. It is so ridiculous. Especially like goth clothes and like winter aesthetic just go together hand in hand.
Layers.
So
It's the layers.
It's just layers, and it's so flowy and pretty, and like everything is great.
And then in
or
the
I'll get
summer
the
months, you're just
complete
a mess.
opposite. Where like I don't think that I'm dressed up at all, like at all. Like
Oh my God.
I don't think I look fancy, and like I'll get people that are like, oh my god, like how expensive is this outfit? And I'm like, I don't know. Most of this came from H&M. Like, I'm just like,
I think it's just the way we put things together. I do get a lot of comments on my clothes, especially lately now that I've kind of living my adult fantasies, like my childhood fantasies, and just wearing whatever the fuck I feel like. Like, I don't care anymore. I've really just gotten to this point where I'm like, just don't follow me around a grocery store and we'll be fine. Like, I don't need you shopping while I'm shopping just to make sure I don't take something. But like generally people usually leave me alone. I mean, you and I have been in stores and people just get so fucking weird when we're like in a store together. Like I don't get it. I don't
trifecta of what the fuck is that?
Yeah, because like we individually have our moments with people in the public, but then when we're in the same room together, people just I don't think
know how to
they
act.
know how to act.
No.
I don't know what it is. I just think that it's probably a combination of the hair and the tattoos and the makeup and the clothes, and they lose their marbles. All of their sense goes out the window.
And I'm like, I can honestly say, like, I know I'm not like the most attractive, hottest person in the world, but I also don't think that I'm ugly. So it's just like, we're pretty.
Me too.
And then it's like just the whole aesthetic in general, and then
we
it's
can
like,
put
oh, but you're
ourselves
not
together for sure.
Yeah, like you're not ugly, and you're just really alternative, and then it's just like
I think it puts people off because they don't know what to do. Like, the amount of times that we have been out and somebody just comes up and just word vomits at us, and we're just like,
and it's just like doe eyes, and it's just like, hi, can I talk to you? And it's like, ew, like
what? Like maybe I'll answer a question or two, but why are you being so weird?
So
we're the weird ones. Right?
Yeah, and then it's like, I don't know, but and then it's like you kind of get into that like then like you kind of start bracing yourself because it's just like, are these going to be like normal questions, or are these are like we crossing lines and like we're going to be like really inappropriate where it's like the fuck asks those questions? Like, who talks to people like that? Like, are you okay? Like, are you okay? Because that's not normal. Like, that's not normal behavior.
I think that people fetishize, especially like in recent years, people have been fetishizing like goth or alternative or whatever. So like that's why everybody wants like the goth girlfriend, you know, like, or the goth
until you do spooky shit, and then it's like, oh my
and then
God.
they're just like, oh ew, what why did you bring home that rat?
Yeah.
You know,
why is there a skeleton? Why is there a skeleton in your bag? Why would there not be a skeleton in my bag?
What is this on the counter that's cooking? I can't tell what it is. Don't eat it. Don't
touch that.
Eat it.
It's not food. It's not food. I'm cleaning dead things.
Right.
Don't eat
everybody wants a goth partner until they realize what happens with goth partners, which brings me to my next point. Goth girls and cowboys were meant to be together.
Interesting.
Because cowboys are used to, or even like blue-collared men, they are used to dirty jobs. They're used to ranching. They're used to trucking. They're used to blah, 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 blah. And goth girls are a lot to handle. or goth boys,
Yeah.
whatever. They're a lot to handle. And most of the stuff that doesn't bother them about their jobs will not bother them about their partners. So I feel like having, you always see like the cute little like goth girlfriend and like the cowboy, or well, I see a lot of them now. A lot of them. There are not a lot of alternative couples. It's one and the other. They look completely different from each other. But I think that they fit so well because like a blue collar dude is gonna like probably also be a hunter or probably work with dirty trucks or plumbing or whatever. And that's the same shit that would bother a normal person. But the things that goth people do, like bringing home animal bones, is not going to bother that person.
You know what? That's really true. Like, my partner and I, like, partner, like, he's not spooky. Like, he's not, it's just, that's just him. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
He enjoys, like, aesthetic of certain things. Like, him in general, like, very much a boy's boy, like,
right,
jeans, t-shirt, nothing super crazy, like that's it. Like, we'll go out, and then because of my personal aesthetic,
we're always
like,
overdressed, by the way.
Yes, like
we're the overdressed
like yes, we're the overdressed ones. But like, he'll dress up and like match me. And then like
That's
a few
cute.
months ago, one of our friends from high school was having a birthday party. So I was like, have you ever heard of Black Rabbit Rose in Los Angeles?
Mm-hmm.
So we put together like a little surprise birthday party, and we were going to take our mutual friend. Yeah, it was fantastic. Loved it.
I want to
go.
It
was so good.
It's on my
oh my
to-do
god,
list.
so good.
Okay.
Food, drinks, the cocktails are fantastic.
Like
the magic
supper
show. Supper club, and then when you're
it.
done with that, like speakeasy like opens up, and then it turns into like the magic show.
I love it.
It's so good, so good. And you don't have to dress up if you don't want to. Like, you can go very casual if you'd like.
Okay.
But you know, like, it's still one of those where it's like you still want to dress up.
Encouraged.
Yes. So you know, me being my spooky self, like full face of makeup, I've got jewelry on,
Right.
like I am dressed. Like, I am dressed. I am
To
living
the
my best
nines.
spooky life to the nines. Like,
Mm-hmm.
full glam of makeup also.
Love
like
it.
Just wonderful. And then our friend, who's her birthday, like also goth, super spooky, like got this like beautiful like this like they have a very specific name. I forget what type of dress, but like it's like peplum dresses that kind of just like everything
with the
really
cute little like cupcake, like
a
goth cupcake.
Yes, like the little like really like almost Lolita kind of like gorgeous. Like, she's dressed
Lolita's
gorgeous.
the word. Yeah.
Her partner, same thing, not very spooky, and like we're all out, like, you know, but dressed up, also kind of mirroring the same aesthetic, but like she's not spooky. Like, they're not spooky babes. And then we're having our best time, and like we're just talking, and it's just reminiscing about like high school shit and just like, you know, like life in general. And then my partner and then her partner, they're just like, well, we were never really like goth kids. We hung out with you guys, but like we were never really like the spooky kids.
Right.
You know, like we had different tastes in music. Like, we kind of dressed a little bit similar, but like we're not in the nicest way, just trying to be like, we're not as weird as you.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, and then like taking a seat back from that and just being like, oh, I guess I never really looked at it that way. And I'm like, yeah, I guess you are relatively like normal in comparison to like,
but they're just our partners, so you don't think about it.
No,
you just let them live their life, and they just let us live our lives, our crazy spooky lives, and they just deal with us.
Yeah. And I'm just like, oh, and I just remember being like, oh, is that like a problem? Because like we always end up doing like a lot of weird spooky shit. And they're like, no, it's always fun because it's like things that I would never think of doing. And I'm just like, okay, cool. Like, I love that. Like, I love that. And then I guess I look back and like, I don't think I've ever actually been in a relationship with anybody who is also like alternative. You know what I mean? Like, all of my relationships have always been with somebody who's
kind of
like
relatively normal-ish.
relatively normal, you know what I mean? And I'm
Well,
like,
by
oh,
societal standards, but yes.
yes, yes.
Because most of them are not normal if they're with us.
No, no, no,
Um,
no.
but yeah,
There's other things going on outside of aesthetic.
I would never probably ever date another alternative person. There's too much maintenance that goes on there.
I was just gonna say that. I was like, because I did remember when I told you I was going, like when I was dating and I was going on a date with somebody else who was alternative, and then it was a nice time. We had a great time. Conversation was fantastic. We had a wonderful time. But also like just thinking about it and then like just comparing our lives and like everything. And
The maintenance is a lot
so,
for both. It's got to be either one or the other.
Yes.
It can't just like be. It can't be like both. You know.
Oh, we both can't be fucking high maintenance and spooky at the same time.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Go alternative babes out there in, listening. Go get yourself a cowboy or a blue collar dude or chick or whatever, or they, them. Go do it, because highly recommend. 10 out of 10.
They'll put up with your bullshit. I promise you.
They really will. I don't know, because they put up with enough bullshit at work, so they come home and they're like, "Oh, you're fine."
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. You're totally fine.
Seriously though.
What are we doing? We're cleaning cow skulls. Cool.
I'll help you. Hey, babe, can you help me like drill this antler or these bones? I need help. It smells really bad. I don't care about the smell. Okay, cool. Thanks.
Cool. I'm taking this like old spice rack and I kind of want to like distress it and turn it into like a coffin. If you could help me
help me cut that up, and let's go. Or let's go clean all of the yard and take all the sticks and make weird things with the sticks.
Oh yeah. Or like the self-care part is also like, not that they don't take care of themselves, but like my partner now, like taking him to go get like his nails done, like the first,
they love
like
that shit. They love that shit.
You know what I mean? Because it's just like, oh well, that's like I don't do that. Like I don't go get manis and petties, and like I don't do skincare, and like I don't like tweeze my brows, or you know what I mean? Not that I'm like nitpicking them where I'm like, you know what I mean? But I'm just like, I like the first time that I took my partner to go get mani-pedi, where I was just like, I'm gonna go get a mani-pedi. Like, would you like to come with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were just like, no. And I was like,
it's fine.
I have mimosas. And he was just like, I was like, I'm not going to like a normal. I was like, I'm not going to like a normal shop. I'm going to go to like one of my bougie. Yeah, I'm gonna go to like a bougier place where they serve mimosas and like they have cocktails, and
I love that.
like you can get like little hors d'oeuvres, and like I'm not talking about like I'm gonna be in and out like in like 20 minutes. Like no, like we're gonna be there for a couple of hours.
Fiesta.
Like we're gonna be there. We're gonna be there for a while. And he was like, cocktails, and I was just like, yeah, like immediately was like, yeah, I'll go for some cocktails. Like fuck it, And then halfway through, just sitting there and being like, being like, I've never pampered myself before.
Right. You've introduced them to a whole new world of self-care that they are like, this is fucking nice. I don't know about you.
And they're like,
know why I'm not doing this more often.
Exactly. And they're like, I've never had a partner like ask me to go, or like, and I'm like, why would they not? Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you're with somebody that's going to go have like a self-care moment, like, why wouldn't they invite you to come along with them?
I have a lot of guy friends I don't have a lot of girlfriends. Like, it's just me and the guys half the time. So I will literally be like, hey, you want to go? Or hey, you want to do this? Because in a normal capacity, no other girl is going to take them to go do this stuff. Like, they have no idea about any of that side of things half the time because of so many different reasons, which is stories for another time. But I think it's important that guys get to experience some of that stuff. Like, I think they realize after, they're like, oh, what have I been missing?
Yeah.
Like, so I try to
have pretty hands and pretty feet. Like,
right? At most it's the massage. Like, you get a fucking foot massage. Yeah. Like, or arm massage or something, and it's like, oh, I was tense, you know?
Yeah.
So I think
know?
it's important that anybody pamper themselves, but especially people who've never been pampered before. It's so good that they feel relaxed, and for the first, like, half the time it's for the first time fucking ever. Like, because they've never felt that sort of feeling before. And then they're just like, oh, this is nice, and I want to do this more often.
Yeah. Or like, I mean, I work in cosmetics, you know what I mean? So like every partner that I've ever had has always been like me introducing them into the world of like skincare and cosmetics for the first time, and they're just like, I had no idea. Like, and it's like,
right?
it's something simple, so simple, where I'm just like, I'm introducing you to like face wash and toner, you know what I mean? Instead of just a regular bar of soap. And they're just like, my skin looks pretty. Like, I feel pretty and I look pretty. And I'm like, yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. Like,
as long as you feel good about yourself, this goes back to the original makeup conversation. If it makes you feel good about yourself, fuck it, do it.
Yeah, like, why not? Like, you know what I mean?
Lift yourself
like,
up a
who
little
cares?
bit. Give yourself a little bit of dopamine for the day and make yourself feel really good about being clean or whatever.
Yeah, like, you don't have to sit in this world of like, oh, well, like, this is masculine, this is feminine, this is in between, this is acceptable, this is not acceptable. Just live your life.
Right.
Like, it really, like, none of that has gender constructs to it.
Right.
No. Like, feeling good doesn't have a gender construct. Like,
that is
just
so
take care
fucking
of yourself.
Perfect. That is perfect. Like, you shouldn't, yeah. I think it's really hard, and a lot of people I'm trying to word this correctly so I don't get yelled at. I think that it is important that we as humans do the things that we want to do as long as they're not hurting other people.
Like,
you know, like, and I think who cares if your buddies think that it's something or another? If you enjoy doing it, fucking go do it. Go get your nails done. Go get your hair did.
Like,
you know?
Well, and like the equivalent, you know, like guys do this all the time where they're just
they got the barbershops too that do the full fucking thing.
Oh my god, which is the best? Like,
pamper
going
yourself.
in and right, like, I want a hot towel. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they do like the razor shave. They sometimes massage. They do the whole fucking thing. Go do it. Nice. Just go fucking do it. Go do it.
Pay for it. Like, trust me, pay for it. You'll love it. You'll absolutely love it, and you'll feel so much better afterwards. And then you'll just be like, why don't I ever do that? Why don't I do that more often? You know, like, it's self-care is so important.
It really is. Self-care is important. You should feel good about yourself. You should feel sexy. You should feel things that it helps you feel things and gain confidence. There are no fucking rules. The only reason why we think that there are any sort of rules is because that is how advertisers have advertised to us for hundreds of years.
Yeah, but I'm just like, I don't know, like, you see something out there and you're just like, oh, that looks cool. Okay, cool. Go get it for yourself. Like, who cares? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't matter. Like, just if it makes you happy,
do it.
Just go for it.
And you're not hurting anybody. Do it.
Yeah. What's the worst that's going to happen? You're like, I've never done that before. And then you try it and you're like, I don't like this. Okay, cool.
Don't do it again.
Experience.
Right.
Yeah, love that. Love that for you. Now you just learned what you do and you don't like.
Exactly. And you're never going to know unless you try.
Not difficult. Right? It's really not that difficult.
So thank you so much for being on the show today. Where can people find you?
No problem. I appreciate you having me. It's always a pleasure, like, hanging out and talking.
I love it.
I'm on all social media platforms. It's all branded Monarch Makeup. Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. It's all Monarch Makeup. Where you can check out all of the cool artistry that I do from time to time.
All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. I appreciate you for our inaugural episode, and we will see you guys all on the next show. Thank you for joining me. Bye.
Bye.